What was the best sports moments in 2024? Which athlete made the biggest impact on their sport this last year? Will Saquon catch Dickerson? College football. Should Burrow be considered an MVP? We got lots to talk about. This and more next on Good Sports. Thanks for joining us. I'm Randy Goode, and as always, we really appreciate everybody that's coming in and checking us out. We had more subscribers, I think, this last week than we've had since we started just a few months ago. We are approaching 200. Please join. We are reaching more and more milestones each time. I think we have almost 50,000 views that we've had so far. So thank you guys very much. It means a lot to us. And this is also, again, brought to you by Sadie and Josie's Bakery. They are the best in around anywhere. They do breads, they do donuts, they do cookies, they do everything. I highly recommend it. They are the best people, and they provide the best service and the best quality. So thank you to them.
Amen.
We are really grateful. So please do hit that subscribe button for us if you see that. But we got a lot to talk about. Joined with Trent, and I thought this time let's start off with 2024 is just about over. And looking back in the rearview mirror, was thinking about what are some of the best moments that we saw in sports. And I have a few, and maybe Trent, if you have any comments on that. But let's go with the top moments in 2024. Here's a few of them. Simone Biles was awesome in the Olympics. Getting over the twisties is incredible. She got 3 golds and a silver. Steph Curry in the Olympic Games in the semifinals, 36 points, second most in Olympic history. He had 9 3-pointers, and then he had every clutch basket in the gold medal game. Kansas City Chiefs, back-to-back champions. Brock Purdy ties the game and then puts him ahead, and Mahomes does what only Mahomes can do, and he brings him back, and they get back-to-back championships. Freddie freaking Freeman, 4 home runs. He's the modern-day Mr. October. Caitlin Clark gets revenge over Angel Reese, and she just dominated so many things. Ohtani, 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases. Those are a few highlights. Wanted to hear, Trent, what do you think? What are some special moments, or in those moments that I talked about, did any of those stand out?
Yeah, I think the Simone Biles one's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I was glued to the TV watching that.
Yeah.
I was glued to the TV watching. So, I mean, that's something that's really cool. That's one of those things, it's like, it's not just one singular event. It's, a course of events that you're watching.
Right.
And you're like, there'll be one day you'll look back and you'll go, I remember where I was when that was happening.
Yep.
Right? And, of course, there's the documentary that comes out around the same time that's really giving you a backstory to what's happening.
That was perfect timing.
Oh,
that got
timing.
you all ready, and then she did it. Yeah, that was a Netflix special or something. Yeah.
Yep. No, that was really cool. Honestly, the Simone Biles thing is probably one of my favorites.
I hear you, and the fact that she got it was not only is she the best, clearly, she came back from something that was a mental block that was hard, the twisties.
Yeah.
And the fact that she overcame in the spotlight and won the gold multiple times, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, as far as like singular moments, I mean, obviously we watch a lot of football around here.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson's catch in the end zone gotta be up there.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Saquon Barkley's reverse hurdle, that's gotta be up there.
Yes.
I'm trying to think if there's any other NFL moments.
He went downfield backwards over a person.
I feel like I'm missing some NFL moment, but there were some great moments this year. I mean, the Saquon Barkley thing, he quite literally was doing something you can't even do in a video game.
No.
They had to add it to a video game.
You should never try that. What he did,
don't try
you
that
could
at home.
lose your ability to have kids, but he made it.
Don't try that
made
at
it
home
work.
for sure. But yeah, I think those moments are really cool. Like the Saquon play is cool. These, the Garrett Wilson play is really cool. But as far as like Simone Biles is so much greater because it's more than one moment. You're glued to it for hours on hours, not necessarily just a couple minutes on one clip.
Yeah.
So it's a huge deal, big deal. The Caitlin Clark thing has been incredible to watch. I think that's another thing this year. Like we're gonna look back and see that she really, I mean, there's a lot changing for the WNBA right now,
Mm-hmm.
for in a positive manner. And we'll look back in this, and as much as people want to pick a side between Caitlin and Angel Reese, no matter what side you're picking, it's a positive atmosphere for the
Yep.
WNBA,
Yeah.
and their rivalry will only improve through the years, making it more watchable of a sport,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for them. They're going up. They're rising right now.
Yep. I think Otani 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases, never been done.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Freddie Freeman, what he did in the World Series was ridiculous.
Yeah.
The walk-off grand slam, playing injured, and then he gets 3 more. I mean, man,
Yeah.
you can't. He's now, I think, has 6 home runs in his career in the World Series. So much respect.
As a sports fan, though, this has been an amazing year. And
Yeah.
of course, we had the Olympics going on this year. That
Yeah.
always helps. There's always moments in the Olympics that you get to go back and watch, and you're like, wow, that's amazing.
Yep, you have Noah wins the 100 meters, but Steph Curry, we should have won the gold medal. We have more athletes, although around
Well, we
the world
did.
we did.
But you're
we're-
saying we should be expected to win.
I think we should
Yes.
be, but we would not have won if Steph Curry didn't go nuts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
In the coolest moments. So that was a lot of cool moments. If you have things that you agree with or disagree, or we miss something, Jim Harbaugh wins at Michigan last year. There's different things that have happened, but please add to the comments. We love the comments.
Yeah, we
love
love
the comments.
The Kansas City thing, we might as well
Oh.
talk about it too, because
Oh.
otherwise people are going to get upset in the comments. But also, we don't see it very often. The back-to-back Super Bowl championship,
No.
Dallas did it, 49ers did
Yep.
it. It's something we just don't ever see.
Yeah, it's
And,
impressive. It is impressive.
When it happens, it's a huge deal. Everything has to go right for a season.
You do, and that season in particular, they were banged up. They were not the team that anybody thought. But when it mattered against in the AFC Championship against the Ravens and the 49ers, when they needed the big score, they got it. So
Yeah.
hats off to them, or a fumble or whatever they got. So good for them. Okay, now looking back in 2024,
Okay.
another thing, which athlete made the biggest impact on their sport? Now, I have a few that I have wrote down.
Okay.
Caitlin Clark has brought more eyes to the WNBA. Not only did her thing against LSU and whatnot at Iowa in the NCAA tournament, she immediately goes into the WNBA and changes everything. People are watching everywhere. Every place she played on the road sold out. So she, to me, would be at the top of the list. I think what she did. Now, I know Angel Reese, I know there's others, and it does help to have a rival, but Caitlin Clark is the person. She to me, has changed everything, and good for girls sports. They were starting to go on the rise, and Kobe was helping put some things, attention there, and then he passed away, and they thought, oh, no, what's going to happen? But good on Caitlin Clark. She's done awesome. Also, Otani doing what Otani does is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, he's impressive.
I think whether people realize it or not, though, I think a lot of the current players in the WNBA played a lot into the story that became Caitlin Clark. And I don't know if they meant to, but they definitely increased the...
They did. The way they treated her.
Yes.
And yes. She definitely had treatment that nobody else gets.
Yeah, but it helped.
It
It helped
did.
the storyline that
It did.
everyone wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could see they're jealous of her. That's what it was. They can try to say, we're initiating you. They didn't do that to other people. She got extra, and they're jealous. But, man, she's bringing on things to where they travel differently. The money is there. The crowds are there. I mean, she did a lot. In the NBA is struggling so much. So you've got Curry, you've got Luka, you've got LeBron, you've got all these people. But there's nobody that can compete on what she's done for her sport.
Yeah.
You got Mahomes, obviously, is a big deal. Biles in gymnastics, for a period of time, did bring a lot to the sport. And I think she would be up there in the aspect of she went through something that mentally was very difficult, and it was a challenge, and to see somebody overcome that was inspiring to everybody.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. But
I think the thing about all of these though is there's a lot of eyes on all these sports except for the WNBA, and it really brought a lot of eyes to it.
It did.
The one thing, the question looking back at 24, who had the greatest impact or athlete in their sport?
Yeah.
If you're looking at the fan side of things, I think it's Caitlin Clark and what she's doing with the WNBA. But if you're looking at the sport itself, I actually would love to give a shout out to Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, because they have actually changed their sport in a manner where
running backs matter.
Running backs matter again.
Yeah.
And we've seen in the last 10 years a trend where running backs are getting paid less and less on their second contracts because they're not lasting. And you now have running backs like Derrick Henry, who's in his 30s, Saquon Barkley on a second contract, and Josh Jacobs on a second contract, who are performing at a high elite level with new football teams.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you it is going to make a huge impact in this next free agency period.
You got coming in.
Yep.
He's going to be drafted high.
Kids getting drafted that are running backs and free agent running backs this next year.
They might get paid.
They're going to get paid. And they're going to get paid a lot more than what we've seen in the past because of the performance these running backs are having this year.
Yeah. Been a lot of good things happening. One more thing I just want to say on Caitlin Clark to kind of put in perspective. The NBA over the last 10 years is down 50%, right? Which has killed the sport because of their own decisions. So I've said it before. But you know what she did when she came into the league? WNBA improved by 50%, 48%.
Wow.
And she is definitely the spotlight of that. So good for her. That's the award I would give to Caitlin Clark for making the biggest impact in any sport. That's awesome. And for myself as dad that coached 2 daughters in basketball, I love girls basketball.
Yeah.
And so that is awesome. All right. So we got to move on to Saquon Barkley. We talked just a second about him. He just over 100 yards away from the all-time rushing yards in the NFL. Dickerson has it. He wants to keep it desperately.
Did you hear what he said?
No. What did he say?
Oh, gosh.
He wants it.
Honestly, it kind of annoyed me,
Yeah.
Like I always felt like no matter when you break a record, you're breaking a record in the idea of someday someone else will break it.
Yeah.
And I really love Travis Kelce's perspective about it. He's talked a lot about his records and, some records that he might want, but it's just unlikely he's ever going to get there. And some records that he holds currently, and he's looking at some of these young guys who are going to probably break it eventually. And he's like, nah, no big deal.
Yeah.
He understands, and he's been a really good sport about the fact that records are meant to be broken.
And that's what everybody should say. And
records are meant to be broken.
Yep.
And guess what? You should be thankful that you worked your butt off and you got to hold that record for some period of time. Eric Dickerson has held the record for 40 years.
Yeah.
40 years.
84.
84. Yep. So he's 40 years into holding this record. Yep. He came out and said, do I think Saquon can break the record? No. This is 2 games ago. Okay. So this is before he had his last 100-yard game.
Okay.
So the 2 games ago, he said, do I think Saquon can get there? And he said, no. And then they asked him if he wanted Saquon to break the record, and he basically said, no, I don't want him to break the record.
He's honest.
He kind of was just a putz about it. And I'm like, if he held it for maybe a year, I guess you can maybe see saying, no, I really want to keep it for a little bit.
Yeah.
He's had it for 40 years, Randy. 40 years, and the guy can't let go.
That's how long I had a gap of skiing. I just broke that record. 40. That's a long time.
And I can hear all the old heads talking right now. They're going, well, they got extra games now. Well, guess what? When Eric Dickerson broke the record from O.J. Simpson, guess how many more games he had than O.J.? And you didn't hear anyone saying about how it's unfair to O.J. that Eric Dickerson's breaking his record. No, because at that time they didn't care.
Yeah.
And now it's 40 years later. Saquon Barkley has done it in less attempts than Eric Dickerson. And they may come back and say, well, he's had one more game than Eric Dickerson had. Whoop-de-freaking-do.
In the end, they're going to say 2 things. One more game, and now there's a bye, so somebody gets a break.
But the one more game doesn't make any sense. It's less attempts.
But
he's had less attempts running the ball.
Overall, be a good winner, be a good loser. And you had a record, like you said, for 40 years, 4 decades. what you should do is this is an opportunity to celebrate with somebody.
Yeah.
You didn't see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He went and he handed the ball off to LeBron when he took the record, and he said, congratulations. He didn't once say, well, when I entered the league, there was no three-point shot, and the three-point shot has changed the game, and that's why LeBron. You don't do that. You hand the ball off, and you say, congratulations. So here's my question for you. The Eagles do not need to win. They need to go into the playoffs healthy. It's like, I think it's 105 yards away. What would you do if you were the coach of the Eagles and you guys there's a lot of teams that really don't have a chance to win a Super Bowl that are in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
The Eagles have a great chance to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What would you do with Saquon? And if you'd play him, how long would you play him? Into the game.
I'm going to get off on a little bit of a tangent, but
That's
I'll try
okay.
my best.
That's
I'll try my
okay.
best to
That's
answer
okay.
this
It's a
question.
tough one.
Here's the deal. I know that Nick Sirianni gets a lot of hate.
Yeah.
A lot of hate. You know, he's actually the fourth most winning coach of all time in 4 seasons.
You mean percentage-wise?
Like, he's won the most games in the first 4 seasons.
Oh,
top
okay.
4.
Okay.
Top 4. There's no active coach that has a better record than him. And all we do is tear Nick Sirianni apart.
I like him. I love his passion.
I like him.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm going on this tangent.
Okay.
I think Sirianni is a great head coach. He may not be an offensive mind.
Right.
He may not be a defensive mind. He may not even know what special teams look like.
But he's a motivator.
But he's a motivator.
Yeah.
And you know what I always say all the time is I got a boss at work. I don't think he knows half the stuff I'm doing on my job. But guess what? He's a great motivator. He does a great job. He comes into work every day. He hands his over to me and says, "What can I do to help you?"
Yeah.
He's a great motivator. He does all the things that you need from a leader.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Nick Sirianni does.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked him as soon as it came out of the game. They're like, "Okay, Saquon needs 101 yards. Are you going to let him get it?" And he said, "I'm going to do what the team wants."
Yeah.
And I love that answer.
Yeah,
that
that's
is the
awesome.
answer. Because guess what? It means something to people in that locker room.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't mean anything to Saquon,
Yep.
it might not. But for everybody else, the offensive line, that
Lane
worked their-
Johnson wants it so much. Their offensive line coach is one of the best around.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole line celebrates. This is something the whole team will celebrate.
That Eagles offensive line has been top 3 for the last almost probably 5 to 10 years. It's been a long time that the Eagles have had a stud offensive line.
Yeah.
Guess how many record-breaking offensive years have the Eagles had? None.
None.
This is an opportunity for a Lane Johnson, a Cam Jurgens, a Landon Dickerson.
It's their record too.
It's their record too, and
Yeah.
they want that opportunity.
Yeah.
And guess what? Some of those guys will be in the Hall of Fame one day.
Well-
Lane Johnson will be in the Hall of Fame one day.
Yeah. Oh,
But-
man, yeah.
Guess what? Some of those guys won't be.
Yeah.
And if Saquon gets this record and Saquon gets inducted in the Hall of Fame one day,
They're a part of it.
they're a part of that.
I agree with you.
And I think this is important to people in that locker room. And I love the fact that Nick Sirianni came out right away and he said, "It doesn't matter. I'm just going to do what the team wants to do." And I think that's the right thing to do.
Well, and I'd also say something about Dickerson on the opposite side. If you look at what's going on, when Dickerson he played and ran the whole time. How many times, there's that one clip where Saquon Barkley says, "Let the young people eat."
Yeah.
How many times did he come out early where if he had another 20 yards in that game, another 20, he'd be at maybe 30 yards away from being able to,
Oh,
and
less,
he would have
less
it.
than that.
He could maybe have it now. But
could.
he has been unselfish the whole way. And when you see a guy like that be unselfish, you want him to get it.
There's been a good 3 to 4 guaranteed games he hasn't played a lot in that second half.
And you've got the Giants,
Yeah.
of all things. What? Now, I'm going to be curious. Will the Giants, out of pride, stack the box, say, "We don't care if we're going to lose"?
I think they will. I think they will, but if you're the
It's going to be a
Eagles,
battle of "we don't care, we're going to shove it down your throat."
if I'm the coach of the Eagles, I'm going to tell them you get the first half.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. As a coach, you know that the Giants, all they want to do is not let Saquon
Right.
get in the first half because they're expecting you to pull your guys in the second half.
So,
So they're going to put every person in the box they possibly can. This is what I'm going to do as a head coach.
okay.
I'm going to come out in an all-new formation that we haven't ran all year. I'm going to say, go ahead and stack the box because we're putting everybody on the offensive line.
Yeah.
I'm going 3 tight end sets, a fullback. I mean, I'll have 1 wide receiver out there
Yeah.
just because I have to, right? I'm gonna say you stack the box. That's great. I'm going to put 20 offensive linemen out there, basically.
Here's the other thing you can do. I would throw not screen passes, but like a form of a screen, and make sure Barkley's behind the quarterback when he catches it.
Yeah.
So you get outside if they do that and let him work outside.
Yeah.
Now, third quarter, 15 yards to go. Do you play him in the third quarter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm playing him in the third
Second
quarter.
possession. How deep do you play him if he's close?
Okay, so if he's 15 yards away,
Yeah.
I'm playing him.
Okay.
I'm playing him.
In the fourth quarter?
I don't care.
I
don't care. This is
I
the
agree.
thing.
You'll never get this opportunity again.
When people ask
and
me,
you can't play afraid.
you probably know the answer to this question. When people ask me, Trent, what is your favorite play of all time? It's not the play in the Super Bowl. It's not Philly special. That's not my favorite play of all time. Can you guess what my favorite play of all time is?
No.
I said it a million times.
What?
It's Deshaun Jackson
Oh, yes.
running back
the punt return.
that punt return.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not a Super Bowl game.
Yeah.
It was barely a normal regular season game.
Was that against
The Giants.
it was against the Giants. Okay. I thought
Miracle in the Meadowlands
that was-
version
Oh, yes,
2.
yes.
So here's the deal. For me personally, when I look back and as an Eagles fan as a kid, it's moments like that where it's like all hope. And listen, the city of Philadelphia, we talk about the city of brotherly love. I don't know that you could call it that.
No.
But let me tell you this. They care. They really do.
Oh, the passion.
They care, and they care down to their soul.
Yeah.
And something like this is something where it could, this could be something for the city, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I think what I would do is I'd take the ball first in the second half if you win. You want the offense, and you go, and I hope he gets it. Classy guy.
Yeah.
Classy guy. I know this has been hard on Dickerson for years as things have come up before where it's somewhat even close. And he's kind of like that old bitter old guy that just can't let it go. Now, I get it. It would be hard. I'd want to keep the record too, but at least try to present yourself as somebody that is gracious. And I hope he does it. I hope Saquon gets it. I hope he gets it in the first half.
Don't be a Mark Gastineau. That's the last
No.
thing we need in the NFL.
What do you think of, let's talk Mark Gastineau. That clip of what happened. So he, if you haven't seen it, I think they're like a sports memorabilia signing or whatever.
Yep.
And he's the old pass rusher for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And back in around the same time as Dickerson, this was about the same time, he got the sack record.
It was 84.
84.
It was 84.
So same year. Okay, so he gets a sack record. And then roughly 10 years later, fast forward a decade, you have Strahan out there.
Yep.
And he's one away.
Mm-hmm.
And he's right there. They're right there neck and neck. And Brett Favre has the ball. And he doesn't hand the ball off. It looked, and it sounds like they said some people have said that's purposeful, but he didn't hand the ball off at the end of the game. The game was decided to his running back, curled around, and just basically fell, took the fall, and Strahan got the record. Whether that's accurate or not, it sounds like he did do that.
Yeah.
And so Gastineau lost his record. They meet, and Brett Favre is like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go up and meet him. And he wants to shake his hand, and Gastineau doesn't look normal.
No.
He looks scary.
He looks like he wanted to kill him.
He looked like they were about to throw down, and Brett's like, okay, what do I do right now?
Yeah.
Because this guy's nuts. And I would say this is another thing. He looked like a guy that had a lot of concussions, but Gastineau was a little nuts all the time. Wasn't the best teammate, wasn't the best guy.
Yeah,
He
no,
was
his
crazy.
teammates talked about the fact he wasn't a good teammate.
He had a crazy sack dance where he'd just kind of go nuts. But what'd you think of that encounter? That was uncomfortable.
I think it's not sportsmanlike. I think it's stupid. It's one thing to go home to your wife and say, man, that was stupid.
Yeah.
That was stupid. I don't think that was fair.
Yeah.
It's another thing to go to someone who
40 years later.
Yeah.
40 years later. And you know what's sad? He has not been able to let it go.
No.
That wasn't like just a little irritation. This is 40 years
Yeah,
later.
but Jared Allen tied his record in 2011. Justin Houston tied his record in 2014. And TJ Watt would have beat his record in 2021.
Yeah.
So it's like, where does he get this from? I
He's
just
just-
don't understand why he cares that much.
He needs to let it go.
I mean, what? So he
Let
could have
it
held the
go.
record for another 20 years?
Yeah.
That's all it would have done.
Yeah.
It would have been beat 20 years later.
I do understand the aspect of if a guy takes a dive. That's tough, but it's like 40 years later.
Yeah.
You need to let it go.
Move
But
on.
man, that was scary.
This is the sad
That
thing.
was scary.
This is the sad thing for Mark. He wasn't a good teammate.
Yeah. Wasn't liked.
He didn't have a long, amazing career,
No.
and that's probably the only thing he'll ever be remembered for.
Yep. But now, what's he remembered for?
Nothing.
And now he's going up, and he looks like a bitter old man that can't get over
But
things.
people will remember Eric Dickerson
Yeah.
after this.
Yeah.
Now, Mark Gastineau, I don't know that people will always remember Mark Gastineau.
No.
I guarantee if you ask a 12 to 14-year-old, they have no idea.
Yeah.
But people who are 12 to 14 probably know who Eric Dickerson is.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, all right. So I want to ask you this. So, or just mention this.
Okay.
So in the Eagles game, as they absolutely throttled the Cowboys, A.J. Brown catches a couple touchdowns, but he catches a touchdown from Tanner McKee, right? It's a beautiful play. Tanner's first touchdown
Yeah.
of his career. And that is always something that you take and you keep and whatnot. Well, A.J. Brown is just celebrating. He takes that piece of memorabilia and just chucks it in the stands while everybody's like, ah, and it's gone. And then the expression when A.J. Brown realizes he's
it.
like, no, because he's a good guy. He's
Yeah.
like, no. So it was great. They were able to get everybody together. They were able to track the fan down, got the ball back. I think A.J. Brown I'd rather have a game-worn jersey by A.J.
yeah.
Brown any day anyway. And he gave that, and the fan was cool about it. He probably could have asked for more because of that situation. And that was just it was just a funny, cool moment. That could have been horrible for Tanner.
It's
but
funny because this happened with Saquon too. I can't remember what it was, but it was like Saquon had passed, it wasn't him passing 2000. It was, he had passed his touchdown record or something like that,
Yeah.
or he had passed someone in touchdowns overall, and he himself threw the ball.
Yeah.
So this happened a couple times this year.
That's funny.
But we've seen this happen quite a few
Oh, my
times in the
gosh.
NFL, and it always just makes me laugh because they're like, they have no clue.
No.
You know, they have no clue.
No.
And I think it's funny because a lot of times they keep those balls for like anything, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
like it you barely have to do anything and they'll keep a ball and put your name on it for something, right?
Yep.
You know, it's
Yep.
like first rushing touchdown, or it's like this is your 10th rushing touchdown, or you've had 10 rushing touchdowns this season, and you know, so they keep those balls for a lot of reasons. It's just really funny when you see them just throw like an
It was
important
great.
ball.
I loved A.J. Brown's expression. That was great.
Yeah,
So.
you know, Tanner McKee was like, oh man.
And he can't say anything because Tanner's here, AJ's here.
Yeah.
But AJ took care of
Yeah.
it. And
The old, we would be dismissed if we didn't say his nickname, the Mormon Missile. The
Yes.
Mormon Missile. It was funny to actually hear a lot of the players talk about how Tanner McKee, everyone was really impressed with him for the little bit that he got to play in the third and fourth quarter.
yeah,
And the offensive line actually came out and said that the reason our defense is so good this year is because of the work that
That's
Tanner
cool.
puts
Good
in.
for him.
And they were just talking very highly about him. And they said, yeah, our defense, you see how good they are? That's a lot to do with because Tanner's out there pushing them every day.
that's
So
awesome.
that was really cool to hear.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about MVP.
Oh, goodness.
I am absolutely blown away right now. There's an MVP that I think should be a candidate.
Okay.
When you're hovering right there at 500, it's hard to be an MVP candidate. But Joe Burrow has been awesome.
He's pretty good.
And they have been kind of the opposite of the Chiefs, where they've barely lost and had some rough things at the end of the games and lost. Now they're on a winning streak right now. Joe Burrow has 4,600 receiving or passing
yards, yeah.
He has been killing it.
Do you know who's number 2?
Who's that?
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield.
40. He has 400 less passing yards.
Baker Mayfield. You have Sam Darnold, who's been incredible. These are castaway quarterbacks that were given away. There's somebody
Geno
else.
Smith.
Geno Smith has had a pretty
Jared
good
Goff.
year. Jared Goff was let go of the Rams, and
Well, he's
yeah,
traded.
I mean they didn't want him anymore after he was the number 1 pick, right, or
Yeah,
something.
he was the number 1 pick.
They discarded. I mean, there's been some quarterbacks that have made, let's say what Bryce Young's doing over there, but with Joe Burrow has been insane.
Yeah.
This has been incredible, and he started rough. 42 touchdowns he's thrown, 8 interceptions.
I think what's crazy is the difference between 2 and 5 is about 150 yards. The difference between 2 and 1 is 400 yards.
Wow.
So Joe Burrow's not just having a good season.
Yeah.
He's having a great season.
Yeah.
His team's stats overall have not looked the same in the win column.
But if you take about we talk about Josh Allen, who's been incredible, he has 28 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 3,700 yards. So yeah, Burrow's almost got 1,000 more.
This is what I would say.
Woo.
Jamar Chase is at 1,600 yards.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's at 40. So Joe Burrow leads in passing.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase leads in receiving.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the year, it's going to be hard to keep one of those two out of the awards.
Yeah.
One of them. Whether it's
I hope
Offensive
he
Player of
makes
the
the-
Year for Jamar or NFL MVP for Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Anyway, I think Joe Burrow should be in that. You've got Josh Allen should be in there. Lamar Jackson should be in there. That he has about 3,900 yards. And then Saquon Barkley.
I think that's
obviously
it, though.
has to
I think
be
those 4 are the only ones
That's
that I'd
it.
even consider.
But I rarely would consider somebody at 500.
Yeah.
But Burrow, I think,
This is what's hard
is
for
breaking the mold.
This is what's hard from Lamar is his passing yards are way down in comparison to these other guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his rushing yards are way more.
But Lamar's got 39 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's a great ratio.
That's a great ratio.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
anyway, we'll see. We'll see if Burrow makes it. I hope Burrow makes it. It'll make the playoffs a lot more
I'll say the
fun.
same thing that I've said since week 6.
Yeah.
If Saquon breaks the record, he'll be MVP.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's any way they give it to anybody else.
Yeah. Not after a 40-year record.
Not after a 40-year record.
Yeah.
Now, if he doesn't break the record, oh man, it's going to be hard to pick who's going to get it.
You want to know a fun fact?
Who?
Dickerson, when he broke the all-time record, he didn't
get
win MVP.
Nope.
It went to Dan Marino.
Dan Marino, because Dan Marino threw for 5,000
5,000, yep.
Yeah.
So
Which back then,
5,000 was insane.
huge.
And the best part of that year,
Yeah.
Dan Marino went in. He went to the Super Bowl, and the 49ers took
Was that
him
their
out.
undefeated season?
There was no undefeated. They had one loss. I think it's the greatest team
Yeah,
ever.
but their one loss was to the 49ers in the Super Bowl, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. They both had lost the game going into it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
So, but anyway, incredible. So we're going to do predictions.
Yep.
Okay, so this week, congratulations to Drew and Trent.
It ain't easy.
5-0.
It ain't easy
All right.
being cheesy.
Yep. So, so Trent, you are now 52-24. I went 4-1 and fell behind. It's hard to catch people that go perfect, Trent. So we need this last week you to stumble. I have about 16 games that we're going to predict here.
Oh,
no, I'm just joking. But I am 50-26. You're 52-24. Drew is now 48-28. So he's in the mix. Drew, good job. Congratulations to your 5-0.
Thank
But
you.
here are some games.
Wait, how many does Drew have to pick different for him to even
Drew
have a
has to
chance?
pick 4 of, and I only have 6. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
back.
6, 7 games.
So he's got to pick 4
This
different.
this is a record amount of games to pick. If you're wondering if I'm fudging things to help me get back in, you are absolutely correct.
Hey, listen, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, baby.
What did you say you and Trent's
So
scores are?
Trent is 52-24. I am 50-26. I'm 2 games ahead of you, and I am 2 games behind Trent. So you're 4 games out.
Nice.
Drew, technically speaking, I just want to be clear with you, Drew. You have to pick 4 games different than me.
Yes,
But you also have to pick at least 2 games different than your dad.
to tie him. Yeah.
So
Yes.
basically, you're going to have to pick almost every one of these different than all of us.
All right, let's start off. Bengals, Steelers, and guess who gets to go first? Trent, every time. Woo! Oh, my
man,
goodness.
Is this in Cincinnati? It has to be in Cincinnati, right?
I think it's actually in Pittsburgh.
I don't even know if that changes my answer.
I think it's in Pennsylvania.
Well, let's see here.
Steelers were on fire, and then they've had. I mean, they're into the. We talked about this before the season. Their end of the year is just brutal, and it has been brutal.
Yeah, man. See, I really don't. I don't love picking.
Pittsburgh needs to win this game.
I know that's the problem. Is like
They both do.
they both need to win this
No,
game.
They don't.
But the storyline would be epic if Cincinnati won.
I know it would be.
It would be.
Hey, if you want to, You make your prediction. Just know I'm only 2 games out.
Give me the Bengals.
Oh, no. Is TJ Watts playing?
Oh, yeah, he's playing.
Is he, or are you just throwing that out to get my vote?
No, he's playing.
Darn it. I really wanted to go Bengals.
Yeah, you should.
Nope, I'm going Steelers. I am all of a sudden, I might have switched. I'm not going to tell you if I switched or not, but I'm going to go Steelers. Come on, TJ Watts. Let's go home court advantage. I really want the Bengals to win that game. I do not want to root against them. I'm putting asterisks. I have a chance to come back and change that if I want to. Drew, I know how you feel. Go ahead and tell the audience how you feel about the Steelers.
I hate the Steelers.
It's at Steelers, by the way.
It is. That's what I say. Yep, it's in Pittsburgh.
I
Who do you got, Drew? You're behind.
I saw 2 Steelers fans while I was driving to work today.
Yeah.
And I almost hit them.
we need to work on that. But who do you have winning the game? You can hate them and still predict. So if you're gonna catch Trent,
going off of last week,
yep,
they can't even win when I want them to.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I just think the Bengals are
gonna win.
Okay. I kind of feel like they might make it. It would be really funny if they.
Okay, so we got 2 Bengals. I'm Steelers with an asterisk that I can come back and change my opinion. Okay,
Don't like them.
This is gonna be the.
Wait, sorry. You picked the Steelers and Drew picked the Steelers?
No,
never.
Drew went with you with the Bengals. I don't know how he's going to catch up. All right, here is a game of 2 teams that, if they're smart, they would both lose. 49ers and Cardinals.
Woo!
Who do you got winning this game?
That's rough.
This is hard. It's really hard to predict when everybody sits all their players. Who's going to win the game? So, Trent, I am going to be gracious and let you go first every time.
This is 49ers versus Cardinals?
49ers versus Cardinals. Oh.
This game literally doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all. Come on. Who do you got?
Who's the home
It's
team?
basically, it doesn't matter because they're all preseason practice players
Is
playing
James
each other.
Conner out?
He was questionable last week. He did get me 2.8 points in fantasy this week, and then he went out. But so he's questionable.
All right, give me 1 second. Just
Come on. Come on.
Cardinals eliminated?
Come on. Oh, they're both eliminated.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, they're both.
Yeah, so they're both just looking for the draft pick.
So, yep, you've got which backups are going to win this meaningless game? That's what I want to know. The 49ers desperately need an offensive tackle, and they might get an edge rusher, but they need to lose this game. The 49ers are in a situation where they could, if they win one more game, they could be tied with about 5 teams, and because of strength of schedule, they fall behind all of them.
Is there any reason for the 49ers to sit in their players, though?
Yeah, for a draft pick, if they're smart. And Greenlaw's not playing. There are people not playing.
This is the thing, is the 49ers aren't smart.
And by the way, in case you were wondering, McCaffrey's still out. So, shocking news. Elijah Mitchell never played a snap. Thank you for your...
See, this is the problem, too, is...
No Jordan Mason.
Kyler Murray doesn't want to lose because he doesn't want them to get a better draft spot.
Yep. You got to pick. Who you got? Clock's rolling.
Can we come back to this?
Okay, we'll come back.
Okay.
Chiefs, Broncos. We'll come back. Chiefs, Broncos. Who do you got?
Give me the Chiefs.
You got the Chiefs?
Listen, here's the deal. As dumb as it would be for the Chiefs to win, it's so dumb.
Yeah.
They're going to win.
Yes. I agree.
They have the first round bye, so they're going to play their guys.
Okay, holy cow, this is really hard.
I know.
Right now, I don't
know.
know what to do. I'm going Broncos. Come on, Broncos. I think I've picked you to lose so many times. Drew, who do you got? Broncos, Chiefs.
I mean, I'm going Chiefs.
Okay.
I think they're going to
No.
go for the win no matter what.
I think this is in Arrowhead, isn't it? I don't know for sure. Boy, I hope it's in Denver. Okay, so we've got that one decided. Seahawks, Rams. Here's an interesting game.
Ooh.
So this is the question. Do the Rams have to win?
They made the playoffs, I believe.
They already are in the playoffs, but
So the Seahawks might make playoffs?
They don't.
But maybe not?
Oh, man. That's rough. Wait.
So this is a must-win game for the Seahawks, but not necessarily for the Rams.
Wait, so the Bucks currently are 10-7, right? Is that
Yep,
right?
and it's in LA too.
And the Rams are 11-6.
Yep.
So the Bucks could jump above them.
That's the problem is
They're going to have to play.
Yeah.
They're going to have to play their guys between the 3rd and 4th seed. Yeah, I'm going to take the Rams.
You're taking the Rams.
Yep. Are you just going to pick all? Are you going for bust?
Drew. Drew, who do you got?
I don't really have faith in the Seahawks. I don't think it's just because I don't love them.
Well, they put on an offensive explosion and doubled the team last week, 6-3.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that.
I know. Yeah.
Boom.
Pretty solid points up on the board. I just feel a lot stronger about the Rams.
Okay.
I feel better about them.
They really fell from grace, didn't they?
Yeah. They kind of petered out.
Yeah. I'm going to go Rams. I'm going Rams. I'm going to stick. So we all have Rams on that one. Vikings, Lions. Ooh, could be an definitely an NFC playoff game.
Randy, you're going Rams?
I'm going Rams.
Drew's going Rams?
We're all Rams. So Vikings, Lions. Who's going to win that game?
This sucks.
Vikings, Lions?
The Vikings are hot. And the Lions, we won't know until tonight.
Yeah. So what's going to happen?
Okay, so I got a question.
Oh.
If you're the Lions,
Yeah.
if you win the game, you get a bye.
Yeah, I don't know how it works if it's going to come down to home court.
This is the problem
home
is
field
if they
for
lose
that game.
The problem is if they lose tonight, they're not playing for anything. So if they lose tonight, then our picks are going to be completely off.
So, yeah, as we're recording this, the 49er game is happening right now.
What's the score?
I don't know.
Dang
It's
it, Randy.
just started.
It just started 5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So if the Lions lose tonight, they're
already
not
38.
playing for anything next week.
yeah.
And they're going to sit all their players.
So now you're just going to have to step out on a limb, and I'm going to go the other way.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings.
No. Are you really?
Yes.
No. Look, I'm going to give you an opportunity to switch.
Nope. I'm good.
I'm going to go Vikings. Put an asterisk behind that. I might change it.
How many times do you get to change?
I get a lot of asterisks. All right.
This is
Drew,
hard. This
what
is
about
hard
you?
For me because a lot of it does depend on how tonight goes.
Yeah.
Like if the Lions look bad tonight,
Yeah.
then I would change my answer, but you can't. I'm just gonna go with.
It's in Detroit.
I'm gonna go Lions.
Okay.
Go
All right.
Lions.
You got Lions. So who did I have?
Vikings.
Yep, we both are Vikings.
Okay,
Okay.
hold up. I want to go back to 49ers Cardinals. I'm ready.
Oh, he's back.
I'm taking the 49ers.
Dang it. Okay.
I think that the 49ers have the same issue the Dallas Cowboys have.
Yeah.
They play well when they don't need to.
How many games do we have different picked right now?
2.
Okay. Drew, who do you have? 49ers versus Cardinals. I've seen Shanahan screw
You should
this
pick the
up.
Giants versus the Eagles.
That's next game.
This is another such a nothing game. I'm going Cardinals on this one.
Cardinals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, the
Harsh.
49ers are already in the red zone.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Cardinals. All right. Well, I just think Shanahan's going to blow it and we're going to win the game.
Yeah.
I think 49ers are going to win.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Giants, Eagles. Now, this game is clearly an Eagles. They are way better. The Giants had one game good and a whole bunch of bad crud. But this is in Philadelphia.
I think from what we've seen, too, I think our third-string quarterback could beat the Giants.
Yeah, I think Tanner might come and save the day for the Eagles. But who do you got the Eagles?
Yeah.
I think they're going to be jacked up because of this record.
Yeah.
I think they're going to
Yeah.
Eagles are going to
Eagles.
Giants. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so Drew clearly is not going to be able to catch you. So
But that's
No.
okay.
that's all right.
No.
There ain't nothing wrong with supper.
Yeah.
You know
There
what?
ain't nothing wrong with
We-
supper.
I'll take second place.
If anyone in the comments can tell me where that line is from,
All
what
right.
movie that line's from, then I'll give you a like.
Put
okay?
it in the comments. All right. So last game. This is the toilet bowl game.
Mhm.
It's not really that bad, but
This is
kind
bad.
of. So you got Dolphins,
They're out of the playoffs.
Gross.
no Tua,
Yep.
which is good, versus
Yep.
Jets.
Is Aaron Rodgers for sure?
Aaron
out?
Rodgers, until he takes himself out of the game like he did last week, he is, I think, playing. Dolphins, Jets, who do you have? Oh, I'm going to win this one over you, too. McDonald versus who knows is going to be the coach next year for the Jets. What do you got? This right here, this game, Trent, might be the championship game. Who has the best record at the end of the league? This is going to really hurt and burn if this game that I made that is meaningless costs you everything. I hope it does. Drew, do you want to pick Dolphins, Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going Dolphins.
Dolphins. We got one. Trent? Dolphins.
Hold up, I'm reading this. It says that they
Jets.
may have already decided Rodgers is out.
Okay.
It really sucks because I like the Jets.
Well, that would be tough
Bad.
because I think he got like a half a point in fantasy football last week, Aaron Rodgers. So that'd be a big blow to the Jets. It might be good. No Tua, maybe no Rodgers. Make it happen, Captain.
I hate this. This is terrible.
Oh, this is fun.
I'm taking the Jets.
Are you really?
Yeah.
And how many games do we have different? Still just two?
This is 2.
We
You
all-
want the Dolphins? Make it 3?
No.
You could win on that.
You're taking the Jets.
Yeah.
And what'd they say about Aaron Rodgers? Not that you're going to tell me the truth.
It doesn't really say. It basically says that when they still had hopes for playoffs, at one point he said he'd play them against Miami, but now it doesn't really matter.
Dolphins. I'm swimming with the Dolphins. That is two bad teams without without Tua. So we got 3 different games.
What do you got, Drew?
Dolphins, Jets.
I already said Dolphins.
Oh,
Okay, Dolphins. Okay. Last segment. Here we go. We got college football.
Ooh, I'm excited about this one. Can we do picks on this one?
We can do picks.
Nice.
Ohio State versus Oregon. Rematch. That game could be a championship game. It stinks that it's right now.
Yes, I agree.
But somebody's got to come out of that. Who do you have, Trent? Ohio State versus your local Oregon Ducks.
I know, but the problem about the Ducks is they are just choke artists.
Yeah.
I've never
They always
seen
struggle.
I've never seen a college football team choke as much as the Ducks have choked.
Not this year, but you're talking about history-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, that Ohio State team looked good against Tennessee.
I think Ohio State's winning. I'm picking them.
Are you really?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm
Sorry, Grant. I know I go against your teams all the time, but you pick, interesting teams.
I think I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon.
Ohio State.
I think I'm taking Ohio State. Listen, if they didn't just absolutely demolish that Tennessee team,
Yeah.
who should have given them struggles on the
Yeah.
offensive line
Yeah.
because they've had a lot of offensive line struggles. That Tennessee team should have really at least been hard for them to score that many points.
Yeah.
And they scored a lot of points.
So you have Ohio State?
Yeah, I'm going to take Ohio State.
Drew, do you want to pick Ohio State versus Oregon?
I'm going Ohio State.
Okay, we are all Ohio State. Okay. See, I went first sometimes. We might be adding these depending on how I did with the NFL. We might add these.
We're not adding these.
Arizona,
Just for the record shows, we're not adding these.
Arizona State versus Texas. I've got Texas.
Yeah, it's an easy Tejas.
What about you, Drew? What do you got?
What are the teams?
Arizona State, Texas.
Arizona State's lucky to even be in the game.
Yeah.
Texas.
Texas. Okay, we're all the same. All right. Notre Dame versus Georgia.
Easy, Georgia. I don't care if Notre
Okay.
Dame put a good game together.
Okay, Georgia. I'm with Georgia. We're all on the same page so far. Drew, what about you?
I don't really know them enough, so I'm going to say Georgia.
All right. There you go. Boise State versus Penn State.
I actually want to highlight this game. And I'm going to tell you why I want to highlight this game. There's a man out there that didn't get an award. And he's going to be running real angry like. And there's a team out there that their star player didn't get an award. And they're going to be blocking real angry like. This Penn State team
Have not seen a runner like him.
no, and I tell you what, I think whoever had to play Boise State after he didn't get the Heisman was going to lose that game. I would take Boise State versus Oregon or Ohio State.
You would?
Just for this game.
Oh, wow.
Now, in 2 weeks, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
In 2 weeks, I'm not going to do that.
Might be because Penn State wins.
But I'm telling you that this Penn State team is going to get a heavy dose of Genty. And he is going to be running real angry.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that Boise State team, they feel like they have been, that whole team probably feels like they've been discredited for Genty not getting the Heisman.
Yeah.
And Genty, I'm sure, feels discredited for not getting the Heisman.
Yeah.
And I know.
So you think this is going to be a motivation game that the team's going to rally behind the Heisman candidate that just fell short.
It'll die out.
All right.
Next playoff game they have to play, it'll die out.
It's hard for me. Big school, smaller school, it's a hard one.
Yeah, but Penn State just played Oregon in the was that the Big Ten championship? I can't remember. Are they in the Big Ten now? I don't know. Frick. They changed it so much.
All right. You know what? I'm going local. I'm going to go Boise State for fun.
Me too.
I was going to go Penn State, but I'm going to go local.
So
I
Oregon,
I want to root for Genty.
We're beat Penn State 45-37.
I want to root for him. So, okay. Well, here we are. We've had a great year. We started off here. We're just a few months in. Yep. And it's been a lot of fun. We want to thank everybody again for your support. Almost 50,000 views.
Yeah,
and we just came out of nowhere, and I think one of the things that I like when you can see a lot of people, they have professional athletes and they have polished this and that. We're just like regular people talking about sports because people watching are just regular people.
Yeah,
and we give our opinions. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. Make your comments, and we love it when we see the comments. But we appreciate everything, and we're just going to keep being real and who we are and authentic, and had a great 2024, and I think 2025 is going to be awesome. Knowing that we've ended this year with the most subscribers and views and everything has been awesome.
Yeah.
And we're just really appreciative. We wouldn't have it if people weren't watching, and so we thank everybody, all the people that have been on the show. We miss Cameron. We hope Cameron at some point can come back.
Absolutely.
But we've had so many different people on here. Drew, you do a fantastic job behind the scenes.
Yeah, shout out Drew.
Everything you do with the thumbnails and everything is a lot of work, and you have dedicated so much and meant so much. Trent, you're awesome. You just have a natural ability to be able to express your thoughts in a clear manner, and you have a lot of reasoning. Cameron, I always loved because his takes were very unique a lot of times, and but I loved his passion, and it's just and all the people that have been a part. It's just been great. Been a great year.
That's the hard thing about not having Cameron here is those unique takes. Sometimes you need those. You need those.
Yep. So anyway, thank you again. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. If you share, we've had a lot of people sharing things. We just really appreciate it. And also enjoy those donuts at Sadie and Josie's Bakery.
Absolutely.
They are the best. 2024 has been great. 2025 is going to be better. Thanks again.